Namaste. I am Jayasri Devi, lecturer in psychology, Pasha College of Education, Osmania University. Today we are here to discuss about the module individual learning and group learning, study habits, self-learning, learning to learn skills. In this, we will first discuss about group learners and individual learners. Who are group learners and who are individual learners? In that, first we will go with individual learning. So how does this individual learning takes place and how it is helpful for us? So if we see this learning, individual learning or individualized instruction is a method of teaching in which content, instructional technology, and pace of learning are based on the ability and interest of each learner. If steps in individual learning, knowledge of curriculum. The first point we discuss is about knowledge of the curriculum. Learner should know the contents, subjects in the curriculum. He should read the subjects and identify the learning objectives. Teacher should know the students' goals and objectives. And students verify whether the goals are achieved or not while the teacher is teaching. Define the skills or set clear and specific goals. Students should understand the core skills of the content and describe them in few words. Making goals realistic and challenging or using different learning methods. Different innovative methods are used by the students to learn the content. Teachers are good innovators of different learning methods. Teachers will Teachers make students to understand the content by using different methods and are evolved by using checklists, rating scales, interviews, and drawing, etc. Making good making goals dynamic and revising the skills regularly. Teachers review the skills which are learned every day and make the students understand them. Teachers should define various skills that make learning easy for students. Setting learning goals. Learner should decide what to learn. He must set learner future goals to achieve through various skills and practice. Teaching, coaching, and encouraging experiments and evaluation programs. Students require a lot of time and coaching to achieve the desired goals individually. Students learn at their own pace. Teacher must give sufficient time to learn the given content. And giving continuous feedback. Continuous feedback helps both the teacher and the learner to modify the teaching and learning process. Continuous feedback strengthens the individual learning. More challenging tasks individually. It is very difficult to address the need of individual learners in the classroom. Learners learn at their own pace. Teachers should engage the students by using different skills. Involve parents. Involve parents in their learning process so that parents understand the strengths and support their children in their learning. Advantages or merits of individual learning. Best learning style for people who feel shy and introvert. Develop self-confidence in the students. No peer pressure and self-motivated. Curious to learn new things and learn at their own pace. Develop their own style of learning. Learners' mastery over skills at their own interest. Individual learning style leads to develop authentic learning. And disadvantages or demerits of individual learning. If we see the demerits of individual learning, the first one is less interaction with peer or adult, as it is a individual learning. Becomes boring and loneliness because he himself individually does the work, so he feels loneliness. They do not follow norms or and values, and they focus on their own success and ignores others' success or failure. No support from peers and Group learning. So till now we discussed about the individual learning, merits and demerits. Now we will go through group learning or learning in group. Group learning is facilitated through group activities which help students to understand the content in depth and to improve cognitive skills. Group work engages students with higher level content through provoking and has multiple interpretations. Group learning is either collaborative or cooperative learning, which are often used interchangeably though they are distinct. Vygotsky theory of social development explains how cognitive development takes place in the child. So we are not going in depth with Vygotsky theory. Collaborative learning focus on contribution of individual group members, stresses sharing of authority, leading to dialogue and conscious building on topic. Group governance and group learning is the form of learning which remains in the hands of the students. And cooperative learning is a form of collaborative learning which involves more teacher interventions. In cooperative learning, the teacher designs the task, group structure for accomplishing the task, and also assigning roles to the group members. Students interact under specific conditions set by the teacher. And both collaborative and cooperative learning can take place with informal and formal groups. And in both the settings, teacher plans carefully and designs of designing assignments, monitoring, and assessment. Group structure. So we discussed about there are different types of group structures. There may be short-term and long-term groups. If we see short-term groups, short-term groups are temporary groups, last for one session or less. These groups are used to ensure cognitive processing and engagement in learning. Some of the informal or short-term group activities includes the following. Think, pair, share. Students are given a prompt, that is a question or a problem or a visual, etc. are asked to think individually and note down ideas. Students formulate a joint response after forming pairs and talk about their responses. Few pairs are called on to summarize their discussion for the class. Think, pair, square. Just like the above, but two pairs of students join together to share and compare results. Turn to your neighborhood discussion. Students brainstorm answers to the question or discuss solutions to a problem. Students give answers and the class is asked for agreed information or correcting as needed. Pair and compare. Students form pair and compare notes. Rewriting notes by adding information or correcting as needed. Small group homework check. Students form groups and compare their answers to the assignment. The students in every group will agree on answer, decide, deduce a group solution along with their individual work. And long-term groups. So till now we discussed about short-term groups. Now we'll discuss about the long-term groups. Long-term groups, if we see, long-term groups are formed by the teacher and stay together for a long period of time to work on the broad task or project. These are stable groups, work on major course projects and involves peer evaluation. If we see the suggestions for the long-term group projects, develop a clear description of the work, describe the suitable team compositions, decide the suitable team compositions, divide the work into smaller pieces, establish a timeline for the teams to submit their progress report on their learning procedures of working in a group. Provide students with the rationale for teamwork. Explain the purpose and value of working as a team. Frame the guidelines for teamwork. So this is how the group is formed. If we see the team formation depends on the purpose of using groups. Usually, teams having 3 to 6 students grouped randomly or purposefully. Random selection. How do we take random selection? Simply forming teams of 3 students in each term, each team. Counting off, and the other method is counting off from 1 to 6 of the total numbers and making all ones in a team and so on. Like that, they make a groups randomly using color code cards and make teams of students who picked up some color cards, same color cards. Teacher selected teams. For longer and more complex projects, teacher may want to create heterogeneous teams of different groups based on ability, strengths, experience, or any other characteristics. Teacher will have a complete understanding about the students by collecting the students' data, which includes course related information, experience in the work and travel, personal details, questionnaires related to project. If you see the questionnaires related to the project, technological skills, writing and organizing skills, and learning styles. Asking students to prepare their resume. And advantages or benefits of group learning for students. Group projects help students develop all those skills that are increasingly important in the professional world. They develop ability to break complex tasks into parts and steps, plan and manage time, develop understanding through discussion and explanation, give and receive feedback on performance, challenge assumptions, develop stronger communication skills, tackle more complex problems on their own, delegate roles and responsibilities, and share diverse perspectives, pool knowledge and skills, hold one another accountable, receive social support and encouragement to take risks, and develop new approaches in resolving differences, establish a shared identity with other group members, develop their own voice and perceives the belongings, benefits of instructors or teachers. There may be unpredictability in teaching since groups may approach tasks and solve problems in novel and interesting way. This can be refreshing for teachers. There will be limited number of viable project topics to distribute among groups. It fulfills the learning objectives of the course and lend themselves to collaborate. And study habits. The next topic, if you see that, study habits. Study habits are habitual practice help in study and learn. Good study habits can help students achieve good grades. Students should develop thinking habits or design thinking to plan the content to deliver within the given time. Students who develop good study habits get opportunity to be successful at every level. And to develop good study habits, we need to plan specific times for study every day. Do not study too much at one time. Set specific goals for study times. Work on the assignment which they find difficult. And review the notes before writing an assignment. Should not be disturbed, distracted by any reason. Discussion with another friend helps in difficult assignments. Review the work at weekends. Self-learning. Learning individually by students help in developing their initiative responsibility, and understanding of their study. In this type, students attempt to solve every problem without any outside help. Self-learning can be organized in the small groups without teachers' presence for senior students. Self-study should be an everyday practice for the learner throughout his education. In all schools, library period should be provided in the timetable for self-learning. Self-learning helps to ensure regular progress, develop efficiency in solving problems. To make self-study effective, strategies to develop self-study. Students should be made to understand that self-study is most rewarding. Students can be given the topics of science and social studies to be taught before and for developing self-study habits. Students should be encouraged in developing heuristic and problem-solving attitudes as it leads to self-learning. And in every school, there must be a good science library for the self-study of the students. Self-study helps in practicing in academic tournaments or games of science. Work done by students in self-study must be corrected by the teacher and suggestions for improvement should be given. Learning to learn skills. This is our last topic of this module. It is the ability to pursue and persist in learning. It helps to organize one's own learning, including effective management of time and information, both individually and in groups. Steps for learning to learn skills. Goal setting. Even though the setting of the goal is the first step, it decides what should be achieved at the end of the learning. Goal setting helps in making the content easy to plan and help in the learning process. Breaking down the content. The research should be done to master the skills which are needed. This research should be directed towards the achievement of the goal. Prepare a plan of action or the components involved in this process. Don't worry about mastering all skills. Instead, start thinking analytically and move step by step. Sub-skills to be present, sub-skills to present the content. For delivering the achieved goals or the content, we need public speaking skills. Some of them are proper body language, gestures, eye contact, movement of the body or walking style, proper arrangement of the content in slides, sequence of the content presentation, text and slide animation, and the speed of the content on the slides and the delivery of the content. Delivering the lecture, tone of the speaker, volume, and the speed of the delivery of the content should be managed according to the group. And find reasons for your drawbacks or success. The beginners will take time to get mastery over a skill. Don't get demotivated and quit. For first few days, it will be hard to learn this new skill. Make a list of sub skills which need training. Work on that skills and practice again and again to learn them. Focus on the bit of the content rather than the whole content. We are making the content into small bits. We must learn a bit of the content first, which motivates to learn the whole content and get the desired learning outcomes. Focus on the sub skills, which one by one. Learners must concentrate on the sub skills at a time. When they master one skill, it motivates to the learner and learn another skill, which is new to them. Students will learn multitasking. They will show progress in their learning and get mastery over content. And this is, I hope everybody understood the content, and thank you. Namaste.